channel here or over at Subscribestar or join the Rumble and the Odyssey. So Satanic Grammys. Yeah, sort of. I mean, like what other conclusion would you reasonably draw? They tell you who they are. It's like, "Oh, it's just Hollywood." Yeah, but I mean, like they're not doing any other themes. They're not doing some Christian theme. Of course, Hollywood's not going to do a Christian theme, but they're not doing a natural theme. It's like they seem to have a fascination. Oh well, they're doing it because they're going to upset the Christians. Yeah, I don't know how many. I mean, well, is that a reason to do anything as a sort of a reaction to someone else's, a response to someone else? It seems kind of weird. Then, well, why would you want to upset the Christians? Wouldn't you chase them out of the audience, or like are they watching? Like the country is not as Christian as it was, in the '80s. Not nearly as Christian. So which is not a good thing, unfortunately. So I don't know exactly who you're upsetting, or it's like they're kind of upsetting the idea of Christianity in general, this kind of stuff. So the right lost the culture war, but like, are you losing a war if you're refusing to even engage in battle? Because the right disavows anyone who is a millimeter to the right of their position, or someone who's not politically correct, or perhaps uses language that is not allowed for them. The right does this purity spiral where if you have honest talks about haram, unpolitically correct topics, you'll be uninvited from free speech events. Is one of the things that happened with Faith Goldie at the Jordan Peterson Shapiro event. It's I don't know, some kind of uncancelable event. It's a free speech event. Oh, but not for Faith Goldie. Free speech, yes, but not for their sacred cows. I mean, like they're telling you what they're telling you. What more do you need? So con ops, then, yeah, that's just controlled opposition. The left doesn't disavow the further left, and the left continues to win over and over again since post World War II. Look where the country is now, and look where it was in 1955. It's up poop creek, and it's raining a-holes. So the right continues to play by the rules of the left wing, and so the right loses. Like openly, honestly, in their face. The Groypers, and I don't know anything about this group, but they're asking Charlie Kirk those questions about the BLT stuff in the right wing, and they're asking honest questions that should have been asked a long time ago. And I remember like when Trump had that BLT flag on stage, and in 2016, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. He's reaching across the aisle, and now I look back and I'm like, oh, maybe we should think about that a little bit more. Maybe we should have had a talk about that one a little bit more. Is that are those part of our core values? Are you reaching across the aisle? Is that a good thing? Because are you reaching across the aisle, or are you walking across the aisle and abandoning earlier positions? Um, it feels like I view that differently now than I view, like in 2016. I was kind of proud of the guy. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool that the right wing is doing that. Thinking like, so what exactly is your dogma nowadays? Oh well, our drag queen story hour is more based than their drag queen story hour because we're talking about, like, I don't know, the writings of the founding fathers. Oh, okay. So we're gonna own the libs with that. Um, the right just continues to just, God. They just, I mean, as soon as the right tries to do something, the moderate right immediately, oh, hey, this Patriot Front, well, they're going out there covering their face and protesting against this kind of stuff. It's peaceful constitution protected activity. It's peaceful assembly. And the right wing, the moderate right, goes, oh, patriots don't need to cover their faces. Like, so the media can dox them and destroy their lives and get them fired and hound them to the ends of the earth. I mean, the J6 people are sitting in prison now because they didn't cover their faces and, dress like there's a reason Antifa dresses all in black. Black gloves, black face masks, black everything. It makes the state's job a little bit harder. Antifa knows who the enemy is. Like, why doesn't the right wing know that also? If you're on the right and you think the state is on your side, didn't J6 disavow you of that notion? Really? I mean, like, how do you look at Patriot Front? They cover their faces. They cover their faces. They're doing this peaceful protest. Yeah, so it's constitution protected activity. That's what the founding fathers had in mind. Um, it feels like the right just uses that as an excuse to not actually do anything. And then you just kind of simply remind them, yeah, so J6 guys are in prison right now. Where's the, like, would you like to follow up your argument? And they don't have a follow up to the argument because it's like that doesn't fit in with their worldview. Where, oh yeah, J6 guys are in prison. And then you go, oh, it's weird that BLM and Antifa have been rioting for years and nothing happens, but the J6 people are in prison. Yeah, you're going to have to accept that into your worldview, that things are not as they seem, and go act on this new knowledge. The government is not your friend. Like these vaguely right-wing people, they think, oh, we're all patriots together. Have you ever considered that the government is actually the enemy, and they do not value the Constitution? The right wing values the constitutional rights. You're gonna have to get it through your head that yeah, the government doesn't. The mainstream right wing government, the mainstream left wing government do not value the Constitution at all. If they could get rid of that Bill of Rights with a stroke of the pen, they absolutely would. Anyway, like incorporating that kind of stuff into their worldview is we they're on Gab and we just drag them kicking and screaming further and further right. So I saw a meme today on Gab of a cogwheel that the left rotates to the left, but there's a right wing safety block that allows the left rotation, but it locks it in place if you try to rotate it right. It's like a well when you crank a well and it has a safety block on it, so it can't just fall to the bottom. The mainstream right wing is not the right wing. They don't actually conserve anything. They're the left wing. They're just 10 years behind. They don't value free speech at all. They won't even tell you what their values are because they don't want to be pinned down. They just keep shifting to the left so fast. The right doesn't even move to the right because they consider that nationalism. Oh, you mean like your fathers and grandfathers were nationalists? And the left wing told them that nationalism is bad for some reason, and the right wing accepts the rules of the left wing. Well, why would you accept the rules of your opponent? You're just going to continue to lose if you accept their rules. That's why you're starting to see groups form outside of the right-wing con ops model, patriot groups, groypers, nationalist groups, actual right-wing groups that actually want to try to move to the right. They want to have those forbidden conversations and slaughter the sacred cows. We're looking at our representatives now and we realize, oh, they don't share our values. They're Dems and Republicans in Florida right now who are working to limit constitutionally protected speech. I think it's insane that anyone on either side of the aisle would want to restrict any constitutional rights. But the meme is that when the Democrats and the Republicans are getting together for something, it's not a good thing. You want them disagreeing. But no. For this one thing, for this free speech thing, these people are dropping off like pamphlets, like literally founding father stuff, constitution protected activity. And the right and the left are teaming up to go, we got to stop these people just distributing pamphlets. So the First Amendment then? Oh, well, it doesn't count in this case. Yes, it does. It counts more than ever, friendo. Why would you want to limit that First Amendment? Because people have their feelings hurt, and they're very important people. Anyway, so a couple of thoughts on this awards show. I think if the right wants to make a comeback, they're going to have a return to some hardcore Christian nationalism and get way, way more based. Because to balance out these dark forces going on right now, these low-energy, milquetoast conservatives are not going to cut it because they don't counterbalance these Satanists. Think of the right wing now. How many are publicly Christian? I think the general right-wing population is way more based and Christian than the right-wing politicians who won't even mention Christ because they don't want to offend anyone. I think you're going to have to just wash all that kind of stuff away and have a return to based. I don't think the soft energy vibe is going to cut it, but to be fair, people on both the left and the right look at their representatives and realize, oh, they don't represent us. They seem to be representing some other interests. So what happened? Well, Hollywood puts on an awards show for some crappy music, and it is all crappy music, and they do their LARPing Satanism, their eyes wide shut stuff, which seemed to be a pretty common theme in Hollywood. And I was talking to some people on Gab about it, and they said that the Hollywood Satanism had brought them into Christianity or back into it because they felt that it kind of validated it, because these people hate Christ so much that maybe there's a reason. And then you look at them, you're like, whatever they're selling, I want the opposite of it. And then you look at Christianity, you're like, okay, I guess that's the battlefield. Which I wouldn't have understood that a decade ago, but I look at things differently now. I look at it like, I don't know if Satan is real, obviously, but I know that Satanism is real. It doesn't matter the ultimate reality, which is probably never going to be proved, or I'll say it's never going to be understood by somebody like me. If these Maria Abram, it would probably take a lot of meditation or something. I just don't have the flexibility. If these Maria Abramovich spirit cooking types believe it's real, or the Epstein Island temple on sacrifice to Moloch, If they think it's real, it's like, well, that's all that matters. Like that island, the Epstein Island, flight logs, and all the celebrities going over there, that actually happened. That's not a far right wing conspiracy theory about the Comet Pizza type of stuff and the cabinets and all this and the Podesta's emails back and forth. It's like they weren't talking about Italian food with those emails. We know they were talking about something else. You'd have to be an idiot to think that they were talking about food orders back and forth between these high level people, or not, even like as a metaphor for drugs or something. It's like, no, we know they were talking about something else. You're not gonna. I mean, you can't gaslight us when stuff like Epstein actually comes out, and you go, "Oh yeah, but that actually happened." Not only did it actually happen, but he got deleted in prison, and the cameras turned off. Oh well, okay. So you're saying that there are powers that are more powerful than the state because they have the power to supersede the state, and go tell a prison warden, "Yeah, this is what's going to happen. It's the silver or lead." And then not only did it in America, they did it in France too, because his partner also turned off the cameras and deleted himself in a French prison. So I mean, clearly there's something else going on here. It's like, oh, that's just conspiracy theories, but it all actually happened. Oh yeah, well, you don't want to get Isaac Cappy, do you? What? What? I mean, the thing is, if like you had a big platform and you're kind of going down this path, like I just don't see. I don't think if you had a big platform, you'd go down this path. It's like, how come reporters don't dive deep into this story? Yeah, oh well, some reporter writing for I don't know some LA whatever magazine. They look at it as like, oh, I make $140,000 a year living in LA. It's writing these kind of simple, safe articles. If I go into this Epstein stuff, I'm probably just going to get mugged and not survive it. Oh, like that's just how simple it is. It's like, yeah, the reporter doesn't have some magic power to go into hiding. He's living in, somewhere in LA or outside of LA. It's like anyone can get to anyone. So it's like those stories just never get written. So the whole Epstein thing just kind of got washed away. Yeah. Yeah, nobody investigated it because no one's willing to die on that hill. Because that's probably what would happen. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.